Our company was founded in 1959, and at that time my dad and his two brothers founded the company along with my grandfather. And in the early years they did some work with many of the school districts. They did some work at Michigan State. In 1990 my dad became the sole owner of the construction company, and as we continued to grow, about the early 80s we started to do more and more corrections type work, and that's been a major part of our business. Where we are today represents about 20% of our revenues is in the corrections space, both in Michigan and in Ohio. As a construction company, we have a culture of working together in a very collaborative style, but also modeling the golden rule: treat others as you'd like to be treated in everything we do. And so what makes us different, I think, in the corrections space is our ability to team together with service providers. To the extent that we can, we want to be all on the same page with all of the contractors and with the engineering firm, the architect, and the owner. And that makes a difference because it's not just the built environment and the security and the management and the operations and the maintenance of these facilities. That's all vitally important, but it's also vitally important that the experience that the sheriffs and the administrators and the commissioners, that they experience a great building process.
I lead our MEP group, and within the Granger organization, we feel that it's important to have our engineers in-house. That way we provide expert knowledge on projects to provide a successful solution to our pre-construction services for our clients. There's three key reasons why we do that. One is that we can collaborate early with our clients. We have the knowledge to be able to fill in the gaps on the design projects when they're still early in the development phases. The second thing is that we have an expert knowledge of the industry, so we know the market conditions, we know the unit rates, and we can help provide accurate estimating. And the third thing is that we can collaborate with the engineers to do constructability reviews on the documents to help make sure that they're accurate for bidding and to avoid costly changes during the construction process.
To assist Granger in our pre-construction efforts, we utilize 3D models to the fullest extent by performing detailed 3D quantity takeoffs. And takeoff is essentially taking an entire building and quantifying every single piece and part of that building. So every single wall is accounted for, every single door is accounted for, and basically from there we're able to build a detailed line item estimate. With a 3D model, you're able to visualize everything that could be built in a physical construction project. So we're able to simplify that process of traditional 2D takeoff with 3D takeoff, and essentially that allows us to highlight any component or assembly in a building, take that, assess it, itemize it, and then create an organized, sort of detailed estimate based on what we see in that 3D model. With us, in our experience with 3D estimating, we're able to create a much more accurate estimate and provide an estimate much quicker as compared to traditional 2D takeoff.
Benchmarking is just the process of taking the estimated cost of a proposed project and comparing it to similar projects. So in other words, if I was asked to put together a benchmark for a proposed correctionals facility, what I would do is I would first find projects that we've done in the past to use. So here at Granger, we have a lot of experience with corrections facilities, and so I would pull those costs and pull that into my benchmark. We're going to break up that cost into different trade scopes of work. So we're going to break it up into concrete, into masonry, into steel, and different things like that so that we can better analyze the data that we have. If we're early on in the design process, let's say at the conceptual level, we probably don't have a lot of detail, but we still want to create a good budget or estimate that we feel confident in so that we can move forward in design. And that's where a benchmark is really going to help us. So at the end of the day, you have a solid estimate that you can feel confident moving forward in design with without a lot of that details. So once we've done that, we're going to move forward in design in the pre-construction process, but we're not going to forget about that benchmark that we've created. So during the design process, the architect is going to release documents at different milestone dates for the owner to review, but also as me as the estimator to look at and create milestone estimates. That benchmark is going to highlight areas where costs may be a little bit higher than what we would expect on a typical project like this. So for instance, I might find that our electrical estimate is double maybe than what we had assumed or what we've seen on past projects. Well, I can look at those past projects and say, well, before we were assuming kind of middle of the road interior lighting, and now the design is saying we're going to have higher level interior lighting. So the benchmark has helped us highlight that as a potential problem. I can sit down with the owner, we can sit down with the architect and say, do we need those higher end interior lighting package? And if not, let's realize that cost savings and let's get this project back on budget.
VDC is virtual design construction, so we're bringing everything to life. It's all becoming real. We have a VR machine, which is virtual reality goggles. So we can take those to the end users, have them put those on, and they're walking through their model. They're walking through their jail right now before it's built. They're designing it so they can see it and really get a feel for the space. If it's got, if it's missing something or needs something, they can see that. They can really experience it in the very beginning before you even start doing foundations. It brings it to life for them a lot sooner. Another thing that I do here is 4D scheduling. So that's tying the construction schedule, what they're actually going to adhere to in the field, what they're building, along with the 3D coordination model. So everything's live, right? You have a live schedule, you have a live model. So you're tying these 3D components, pieces within this model to schedule activities. So you're going to see your schedule come to life. It holds more people accountable to their work, and you get to see it being done correctly. It saves you time and money in that aspect because you can see where you can pull ahead work or, move people. You can do logistics that you couldn't do in other 3D modeling softwares. But this one's a management tool where you're managing your schedule visually and you're showing these guys in the field a visual schedule.
So we want to make sure that we're leveraging the very best in models and detailed information that architects and engineers are giving us. Pull that information apart and make sure that we assemble our estimates in a very detailed and accurate manner. Once we run a project, we try and make sure that we have that initial benchmark estimate, which is our yardstick in the ground. Folks like John Bort are going to be great at looking at past information, analyzing all that data, escalating it to the date of the future construction, and then basically giving great ranges of estimates to the customers so they can make better decisions as they walk through design. We then want to make sure that we are accurately detailing how we're going to put this estimate together. So Nolan Arthur is really good at looking at drawings, looking at models, ripping that information apart, making sure he assembles it correctly and quantifies it so that we're giving ourselves the best chance to be successful. We then have our in-house engineering group, Rich Corona and his group, look at the mechanical electrical systems well before any design is put together. And they think about how they would design it since they have that past experience, and then they start to extrapolate what the cost would be. This gives us a unique ability to forecast where those mechanical electrical costs will be that very few companies and our competitors can do. And then lastly, we have our visual design and construction coordinators like Dara, who loves to get in front of a customer, use models, use 4D schedules, and help our customers understand what they're going to be delivered with at the back end of a project well before any brick and mortar has been put in place. We still believe a lot of our competitors are counting doors, pricing that door, and then basically telling the customer, well, here's the price of a particular product. We try to look at not only, all right, what's the material price of that particular door or project, but what about the phasing, logistics? What's the productivity of how we're going to build this and put this thing together? What market factors are out there that could impact the bottom line of the project? And so we're not just estimators. We believe that we're trying to think about what brings value to a particular customer, and then how do we achieve that in a very unique way.
Through the years, we've operated as a general contractor where we just bid a project and we're just bound by the plans and specifications. And for us, it's really frustrating, especially if the owner doesn't understand their design or the architect hasn't designed a product that can work. And so over the years, we've gravitated towards the design assist delivery method, particularly for jail construction or correction facilities. I think there's a number of advantages for an owner to consider design assist. One is, again, the access to the experts during pre-construction for cost certainty, and then also availability of products and understanding of their different options. The other part that they bring is experience of working in other facilities that they can share with different users, so they get ideas for how other people might have used products or design, to their benefit. The other thing I think is important is just the collaborative nature of delivering the project. So for most of our owners, building a correctional facility is like a once in 50-year project, and for many of the people involved, it's once in a lifetime. And so The design and construction may span 3 or 4 years, and during that time it doesn't hurt to have a team that you like to work with and that is, open and honest, rather than a series of, contractual issues that, cause headaches and heartburn. So I think in the design assist method, when we're really part of the team, we develop a relationship with the owner, with the architect, and when we have a problem to solve, it's more of a focus on solving the problem rather than pointing blame at other people. During construction, it's also been valuable to us to help the owner with figuring out how they're going to occupy the facility and how they're going to activate it. And so we spend time during construction to work with the user group that we've already developed a relationship with during the design process, to work through all their standard operation procedures. We walk them through on building tours as well, so they understand how the building's going to function. So when they move in, that they're ready to go, they're ready to operate. In fact, at Fairfield County Jail, they brought together 3 separate facilities into one new facility. And through our training process, they were able to move all inmates into the facility and operate it in one day. So I think that transition is just a testament to how our process works. When we utilize Design Assist, in most of the contracts that we use are as a construction manager at risk, which is a widely accepted delivery method for most municipalities. A newer concept is called integrated project delivery. And in that delivery method, the contractor, the architect, and the major trade partners all sign one contract, and it's the most collaborative form of contracting there is. We're one of the only contractors in the Midwest that have completed a correctional project utilizing IPD, and we're currently working on another justice project right now. And I would encourage any owner that is looking forward to a new project to consider integrated project delivery as a way to deliver their project.